How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? The blade launcher is one of my personal favorite weapons, and it's also one of the best in the game, both mathematically, as I will prove in a future video, and just gut feeling. You play the game a lot, it always feels like it does well. I rated it amongst the top 3 weapons in the game back when I ranked everything coming off of closed beta, and just like most of my rankings in that video, I feel like it was pretty accurate, and I'm sticking to my guns here on that one. The true defining feature of the blade launcher, just like the sniper, is the fact that it has pierce. You can shoot at one enemy and it will do damage on the enemy 3 separate times, as well as passing through to an additional enemy. It's extremely valuable for arena and horde islands, but you can still get your damage up high enough to really take out the boss and elite enemy types. It's just a great weapon. And so you would therefore think that it scales well with a lot of different builds, and it does. But at the end of the day, there is one common denominator that rises to the top. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the critical blade launcher. Check it out. Critical builds are universally strong in Crab Champions. They work for every weapon, and typically, if you can do it, it's a good option, and one of the only ways to guarantee that your damage scales high enough for those longer 200 plus island runs. So, obviously for our weapon mods, we're going to be looking at the critical items, the critical mods, and you just want to stack these bad boys to the sky. You're going to want to get your critical percentage chance as high as you can. Typically, sharpshooter's the move there. It's a small bump in critical hit chance. Just keep stacking it. Eventually you'll get to 80+%. But if you're feeling a little ballsy, there's also hot shot, which increases your chance by a larger margin than a sharpshooter, but you also take increased incoming damage. High risk, high reward kind of situation there. Then we have power punch, which just increases your critical damage once you do get a critical hit. You got critical chain, which increases your damage of critical hits after you get the first one. So if you have a low percentage chance, you got sharpshooter level 1, you're still not criticaling very often. But if you have critical chain, you get 1 critical finally, and boom, the next few have a very high chance at criticaling as well. And then obviously if you move up into the epic rarity, we've got critical blast for critical hits dealing explosive damage. We've got critical link for critical hits spawning projectiles to seek out nearby enemies, etc., etc. There's a lot of things you can do here. And then for perks, we really only have 1 critical chance related perk. It's called critical thinking. You're not going to want to get this one initially, but what it does is it increases your critical damage and decreases your non-critical damage. So this one comes into play once you have your criticals above 50%, maybe even above 75%. Hey, sometimes you won't crit. It's going to be kind of doo-doo, but when you do crit, it's going to hit like a freight train. It's fantastic to get a little bit later in the run. All right, after that, obviously, you're going to want to get damage increasing perks and mods as you go. We have things like power armor, increase your damage per armor plate. Damage combo pairs well with that. Your damage increases per combo level, and remember that armor does save your combos. If you take damage to the armor plates, your combo stays the same until you take damage to your actual health. We've also got things like gemstone collector, checklist, all of these other things that increase your damage over time as you clear more islands, as you increase the level of your perks, as you increase your kill count, all of those. And even assassin, you can get to the point where the blade launcher one-hits enemies, especially if you get assassin early on, so you will start to proc that. That's damage increase for every 10 one-hit elims. And, broken record here, but economy build will always help out. If you got millions and millions of crystals, you'll typically eventually get what you want anyway. All right, so now you got just a critical machine. You're hitting crits, you're killing it. How do you push this build further? Well, this is where you get to kind of play with it and do whatever you want, because really the critical build aspect is the important part. Everything else is a secondary objective, but hey, you might as well start stacking other things like damage shot, sharp shot, arc shot, split shot. You can get to the point where you are spraying a ridiculous amount of projectiles, and guess what? They are all having the same percentage chance of criticaling, and hopefully you've got your crit chance at 80, 90, 99% chance. You can even get to 100 if you stack things high enough. It's insane. And I wouldn't be doing anyone justice with this video if I didn't mention the elephant in the room, homing shot. That is right, homing shot on the blade launcher is truly insane because of the pierce. You fire, it homes in on an enemy, hits them, pierces through them, and homes to another one until it is done piercing. So it'll zigzag between enemies multiple times, and you can increase this distance and the amount of zigzagging by stacking something like piercing shot. Piercing shot just increases the amount of pierce by one enemy. But hey, get piercing shot to level 20, you got 20 enemies, plus it already has 3 to begin with, and there's tons of damage. You fire one bullet, it zigzags between the whole group. It's very cool, very rewarding build to get to. So yeah, get crazy with it. Let me know how it works out in the comment section below. If you liked the video, go ahead and actually like the video. That does help me out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on future build guides or crazy challenge content, dev updates, everything with Crab Champions. And please consider checking out my Twitch streams, twitch.tv/TheeFURNAS. Okay? 99.99% of the gameplay, the actual challenge content here on the channel is from Twitch. So if you want to see it unedited and be part of the videos, go check it out. All right, that's all I got. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.